Squirrel Tails! I've heard about you guys. But we're gonna get a bite at the Yucky Mart. Don't try to stop us.
Sorry, this store only sells nuts, and it's all for us.
I like nuts too. I'm gonna get some.
Oh, no, you don't.
Oh, yes, I will.
Oh, no, you won't.
Oh, yes, I will.
I've been lost in civilization for weeks now. I could really use a snack. Look.
Ah!
I believe there's a hot dog stand over yonder. Would you ducks like to catch a bite with us?
Yeah, sounds good.
Hey, that looks like a fun game you have on your phone.
On the table today, Disney DuckTales. Woohoo! Yikes, I'm out of tune. Finally, some DuckTales action figures to fill the table. We have the full core cast on table today. Let's start quacking through these. Obviously, we'll start with the quackmaster of them all, Scrooge McDuck, the richest duck in the world. On the back of the card, the collection available from Phat Mojo. We have Donald Duck, of course, Launchpad McQuack, Flintheart Glomgold, Louie and Webby, and Dewey and Huey. Pretty much everyone you would need from the series, or at least the first episode. Well, Scrooge, let's remove you from package as long as you don't charge me. And a Scrooge outside of the package. So far looking really close to what we would know from the show. It's interesting how Disney quacks out these licenses to different toy companies, today's being Phat Mojo. We just recently looked at their toys from Bendy and the Ink Machine, and those turned out pretty well for relatively a new toy company that I've opened from. Now Scrooge, this Bendy isn't too mischievous. So yeah, Phat Mojo is the toy maker on these. So Scrooge here with several points of articulation. First would be his head. Looks like full 360 head rotation, and I believe ducks can rotate their heads like that. We have a rotation in the shoulders, but no rotation in the wrists. The hands do look like they have good grip. He's holding onto his cane pretty well. There's also a golden duck idol treasure. I don't know if he'll be able to hold on to that though. As for legs though, no articulation in them. That's kind of a bummer. But with Scrooge I kind of understand, as his coat is in the way, and maybe it's for the best. He's got great duck feet to stand him up, so he should stand really well, and the likeliness is really good. I like how they painted on the glasses on some of the orange plastic coming from his beak. That seemed to work really well. Good looking Scrooge figure, they've started off well. We just have to go with the nephews next, Huey and Dewey. Looks like the backs of the cards are all identical, which is kind of a shame. I always like to read the bio cards. And it's funny, these aren't even the images of the toys. They look more 3D computer animated than they do cell animated. Probably threw that together pretty quickly. I do like how they've combined these characters into a 2-pack though, and at their size and double accessories, it's like getting 2 figures for the price of 1. Pretty good value there. Let's quack out! Outside of the pack with Huey and Dewey. Yes, Dewey is very hard to stand. These heavy bulbous heads are not helping. I figured the duck feet would be good things to stand on, but not for these guys. Well, at least Dewey. And he's still having trouble. There should be good times with these characters though. I really like how they've done the nephews on the reboot. They're so much easier to understand. If you go back and watch the originals, wow. It's nice to see a little more character inserted into these guys. Funny how in the new show only Huey has the classic cap. Looks good on him though. So like Scrooge, we have pretty much the same points of articulation on their heads. Probably full 360. Arms, and we have some hip rotation. Which I kinda like how they did, where the legs are off to the side. However, that big bulbous head isn't helping. This actually makes me want to pull back Scrooge again, and wonder if Scrooge did have a little bit of leg articulation under that coat. It's kind of the same thing, but I'm not getting much. Oh, maybe just a little bit. There we go. So Scrooge has it too, actually. It's just a little hard to maneuver because of that coat. And there's really not much you're going to be able to do with him anyway with the foot stepping out. I do notice a little bit of plastic separation here though, because of the articulation. I think you're gonna have to be a little careful with these figures. You don't want them to split open. Again, an important feature of these guys is multiple accessories. Oh, that works for you, Dewey. The most important would be the Junior Woodchuck Guidebook. It's a nice little piece as a decal as the Junior Woodchuck cover. Then we have what looks to be a bag of gems or berries or olives. Anybody want to guess which one this is from? I think these are all episode specific. We have a nice Egyptian treasure weapon. And we have a Huey Dewey Louie dart blaster. Seeing if we can get one of these in their hands. There we go. They will hold their accessories, always an important detail. I love the almost hand-drawn facial expressions on these figures, especially Dewey. Just a great look, and that dart gun is causing so much mischievous. Even the hair on his head, looking quite good. And maybe, just maybe, with the weight of the accessory going the other way, we could get Dewey to stand. Oh, rats. Again though, the most appealing part of this pack is you get 2 figures. They look very show specific, and multiple accessories gives you lots of play value. Now what happened to their other nephew? Ah, there's Louie. He's packed with Webby. And even more great accessories. Let's open these 2 up. And we have Webby and Louie. I also like the updated Webby in the reboot. She could get pretty annoying back in the day.
I'll remember that.
And she's falling over too. Going to have to work with these feet off screen for a while. There we go. Once you get those legs in just the right position, they're standing a little bit better. We have the same articulation as the other figures, heads, shoulders, and hips. Webby's will be a little tighter with her skirt, and I think they turned out pretty show specific too. What do we have for these amazing accessories? Probably the best part of these toys. We have a grapple gun. This is a really nice grapple gun. I like how it isn't kind of messed up with rope. I've noticed the hands on some of these smaller characters are a little difficult to work with. Scrooge, of course, had nice big hands, so it's a little trickier with these smaller hands. Then we have a Pep soda can, and we have some night vision goggles. Who's going to wear those best? There we go, Webby. Looking totally awesome. I think this Webby figure might be one of my favorites of today. Love the creativity. Oh, and on the back of most of these figures, we've got some writing. Looks like Disney, Phat Mojo LLC, made in China. And we have a green smartphone for Louie. Again, a little tricky to hold. All together now, the nephews and Webby. I have been testing these a little bit off camera now, and I'm starting to get the hang of them. It's all about their bulbous heads and center of gravity. Right now, each nephew is standing pretty well now. If you can find the best angle to tilt their head and the best angle to lay their feet down, they'll balance pretty well. Now I'm able to get them to look down pretty well too without falling over. And back up again. So once they're out of package, you'll want to move their heads around a little bit, and they'll start to balance a lot better. They're pretty fun little ducktail toys. Now for the reason for wanting to stay alive while inside a plane, Launchpad McQuack. One of my ultimate favorite characters from Disney all over. Let's open up. And a launch pad outside of package. As much as I love this one, I could see it being the peg warmer.
What's that?
I mean, obviously everyone's going to go with Huey, Dewey, and Louie and Scrooge first, and then of course Donald, whereas Launchpad and Flintheart Glomgold might not be so desirable. But in my book, I love Launchpad. He is so funny. Good looking figures so far. Unlike the kids, he's standing really well. We've got good pelican Launchpad feet, articulation in the head. To a certain point, we do have that great pelican chin coming down. Articulation in the arms. Those are quite smooth, and he's still standing without falling. And we have articulation in the hips, which isn't that great. At this point, it's safe to say all the hip articulation in these figures have been pretty bad. They've been too tight and have caused standing issues. What do we have for accessories? We have a wrench. And we have some binoculars. I appreciate multiple accessories. Launchpad is one thick figure, but not as heavy as you would expect. Pretty light in construction. Well, thank you, Launchpad, for stopping by. Maybe we will have to check out your plane some other time. For now, I think there's a sea duck in the other room you can check out.
Oh, I like the sea duck. I'll go talk to Baloo.
Next up, we have Flintheart Glomgold. Uh-oh. Something doesn't seem to be right here. We have a cane accessory that is bouncing around on the bottom, and I've got 2 spots here and there of missing accessories. Looks like the package is unopened. Looks like we have a spot for a treasure and a spot for a gun, but nothing there. It's not under his kilt, is it? No, his kilt is covered. That's something you didn't want to do today, is look up Flintheart Glomgold's kilt. I wonder if they changed something at the last minute and didn't have the accessories ready. It doesn't look like there's really a spot for the cane. It could have been in his hand. Oh, I guess it was in his hand because it's broken free. The hand has a peg that fits into the cane, so the cane was meant to be held, I think, in package. We'll check that out a little closer in a minute here, but we are missing 2 accessories. That is bizarre. Let's open up. Alright, Glomgold out of pack. Most definitely a peg warmer. I could just imagine 50 of these on shelf, missing all the other Tales of Duck. He feels like the Wario of Mario action figures. Quite the roundest toy I've ever rolled. What do we have for articulation? Looks like maybe 180 head rotation. I'm feeling kind of a catch. It is on a ball joint, so you can get a little bit of a nod to it. Just maybe curious on the lost 1 or 2 accessories. I think I may take a jaunt back to the store, look for Launchpad's plane, and check another Glomgold if he's holding on to something. But I bet Scrooge stole it. He just may have. Saving probably one of the best for last, Donald Duck. This one probably could move the fastest, as Donald is one of the most iconic Disney characters around. Let's quack out! And Donald Duck outside of pack, looking as pale as ever. One of the funny design elements of this new cartoon. The animation style is very washed out, but I kind of like it that way. It's a good look, and I miss traditional animation. Donald looking good from multiple angles. It's hard to get used to him in a black sailor suit, but I'm starting to like it. Contrasts really well. His hat almost feels like it's part of his head though, like he's got some sort of man duck bun. Just doesn't completely look like a hat to me. As for articulation, 360 head rotation, shoulders, and hips. Oh bummer, I thought there might be tail articulation on Donald. And out of all the figures, Donald is working the best so far. I think mainly because he's the most balanced duck in the collection. We don't have coattails inhibiting his hips. We don't have a giant torso to hold up or a giant bulbous head. He's proportioned just like a duck should be, and his figure's holding up pretty well because of it. As for accessories, we have a classic Donald Duck camera and another smart device. I think again, out of all these figures, Donald is the best, which is surprising, considering Donald. And the Disney Reboot DuckTales collection we saw today. Overall, these turned out pretty well. They look amazing. They've captured all the characters really well. The facial expressions, the vivid colors, and somehow they even feel hand-drawn at times. The articulation is a little clumsy. It could have been better. I would have liked to seen some pin hinges on these shoulders, and the legs are a little bit tight. But once you get the heads balanced well with the nephews, they're doing pretty well. The action figures do feel like they are more on the fancier figure side, so I'm not sure how much pummeling they can take from a younger audience. They might be best as just shelf viewable toys, or left in package. Younger audiences might just destroy these. On the other hand though, they're starting to play really well, and I really like the overall looks of them. I say go out there, find your favorite duck, and give it a quack. Disney DuckTales, woohoo! Toy collection from Phat Mojo arrives on store shelves end of summer 2018. I found these at Target. They run approximately $12.98 a piece. 8 interesting figures to look at with show-specific accessories. If you enjoy the rebooted DuckTales world and need to collect everything from it, here is what is available. Just be careful, some treasures may be worth just leaving in the vault. And that's what I have to say about that.
To think, Disney passed on Squirrel Tales. Woohoo! Thanks for watching Squirrel Stampede. Please, like, share, subscribe.
We've got stuff to do. Where did Launchpad go?
Look out below!
Ugh. No hat articulation though.